I don't know how God saved me. Yeah, I don't know how God saved me. I was saved at a very young age. I don't say that I was born a Christian, although there are some people who say that if you don't know when you were saved, then you're not saved. But I usually ask them when they started loving their mother. And if they say they don't know when they started loving their mother, I say, oh, I guess you don't love your mother then. But I was born and raised in a Christian home where Jesus' love was lived and shown, as the poem goes. And I don't know a time in my life when I did not honor Christ as Lord of my life. So of course there were ups and downs in my faith as I was growing up, but I don't know a time when I did not profess Christ as Lord. So I was born and raised in a Christian home.
The punishment that we get for our sin is commensurate with who the sin is against. And our sin is against a righteous and holy God. That's why finite sins demand an eternity in hell. Now you might have people say to you that a white lie is equivalent in God's sight to an axe murder. You know, I heard that growing up all the time. I never understood it. Because let's face it, an axe murder is far worse than a white lie. We know that. We know that an axe murder is far worse. So why does it make us equal in God's sight? Because both of them are lying about who God is.
I've always had a desire to defend my faith. And I was starting a website, actually. And it was a very evidence-based website, an evidential website. And I think that the Lord has blessed me with the ability to take these difficult arguments and dump them down to my level. And that's what I've done with these arguments, with the teleological argument, the cosmological argument, the ontological argument. And I made them at a level that, you know, a factory worker like myself could understand. And my Christian brothers and sisters loved them. They said, you have to get these arguments out there. So I would try these arguments out with unbelievers, and I'd get them shoved back down my throat. And at the time I didn't know why that was, but later I came to find that they were terrible arguments. But that caused me to not be that interested in apologetics anymore. It never affected my faith. I still had a very strong faith, but I didn't have the desire to share it anymore because the arguments that I was using were falling on deaf ears.
I'm not better than anyone here, but I'm better off. I'm better off because I know what I am, and I know what Jesus Christ has done for me. You see, people make the mistake of saying that Christians try to be good to get to heaven. Christians try to be good to get to heaven. Well, that's not the case. You see, no one could be good enough to get to heaven. I don't try to be good to get to heaven because I could never be good enough. Do you know why I try to behave good? Not to get to heaven, but because I'm going in thankfulness for what Jesus Christ did for me.
So I shelved the project for a couple of years, my website, and then by the grace of God I was shown the Bahnsen-Stein debate between Greg Bahnsen and Gordon Stein, and it's called the Great Debate. And I listened to it, and I wasn't exactly sure what happened when I listened to it the first time, but I knew it was something different. And I listened to it over and over again, and I found out that it was he was using what they call presuppositional apologetics. And I Googled that, and I looked it up, and I found a podcast by a fellow named Gene Cook Jr. It was called The Narrow Mind. And I listened to it, and I became a narrow mind addict, and I listened to it regularly. I ended up being a guest on that show 4 different times. Met some other presuppositionalists there, like Dustin Seegers, who many of you might know. And that reinvigorated my desire to do the website. So then I did a presuppositional website, and that's what turned out to be proofThatGodExists.org. And through that website, many people found out about me, and people would ask me to show up in different forums and debate people, and that led to my first debate online on the Unbelievable radio program with Justin Brierley and against an atheist named Paul Baird. And I had been on a podcast, on Gene Cook's podcast, a few times before that, but really that debate on the Unbelievable radio program is what started the ministry off. That's when people took notice to this apologetic, and it's just been going by leaps and bounds ever since.
I'm not here to tell you that I'm better than you. I'm here to tell you that I'm better off. Because what did God do? There's a debt that needed to be paid that none of us can pay. But what did God do? God in His love sent His Son to pay that price for sinners like you and me. He sent His Son to die on the cross, to die the death that I deserve. A horrible crucifixion on a Roman cross. That's what I deserve. That's what each and every one of us deserve.